up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Playing Dead, IGN's weekly Walking Dead show where we get together, talk to the people who made the game, and spoil the shit out of it. So if you haven't played through Season 2, Episode 3, through it, like you finished Episode 3 and you're like, stop watching. But this will be here when you're done playing it. So, everybody's good? All right. Hey, it's Sean, it's Pierre. What's up, guys?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Lose the attitude.
That's right.
Pierre, you wrote this episode.
Yes, I did.
Sean, you
designed this episode.
What does that mean?
It means that I'm responsible basically for like figuring out what the player's doing throughout the episode.
Oh,
and,
so you come up with the ideas of like what Clem goes off and does and stuff. So
yeah. Also, I yell at him when things aren't working out.
Oh, so that's a lot?
Not that much. He's good.
He's nice
really good, actually.
Cameras on,
Yeah, exactly. That's where you guys have to act like you like each other.
Yeah.
So then, I guess, Pierre, it all starts with you. They're like, you're writing episode 3.
Yes.
Here's what's happened in episode 1 and 2.
Yes.
Which you were a part of as well, obviously.
Yeah, I helped out some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how much of a blank check do you get to do then?
There are no blank checks. You are inheriting some money. Where are we going with this?
No, we can get off the blank check reference.
That's fine. No, I was thinking
that's
about
a great movie.
Great movie.
If you haven't watched Blank Check in a while, go watch
good.
it. But no, so I mean, how does that work? That you're writing this episode? Do they give you story beats that have to happen?
I mean, we have a layout of what the season is going to be and what the trajectory of the characters are. And, I mean, it's live development, so there's some shifting that happens in the previous episode. It is that staggered cycle. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of times it is a lot of adjusting to sort of get it to a place that the Up 2 team is handing off to you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for the most part, we kind of know where we're going.
Okay, so you sit down and you start writing dialogue. And you're like, I want Clem to say this, or I want Carver to do this.
A lot of the choices we talk about, you know, what the player wants to express in a moment, and that's one of Sean's big roles as a designer. And
then you figure out stuff like, no, Clem's got to go steal these, what do you call these things?
Yeah,
walkie-talkies?
It's kind of like we sit in a room and we talk about what the game is and what the story is, and then like my job is to figure out like how do we actually accomplish this part of the game.
Okay.
You know? So yeah, it's kind of a shared responsibility until a certain point, but we basically just try and make sure that those things intertwine you know, as best as they can.
Okay.
So yeah.
So how do they intertwine? You're removed now. The episode's out. You guys smoke your cigars with the $100 bills you light them with. How do you feel it came together?
It's actually half true.
It's a
we just set money on fire. Actually, we didn't light anything. We just.
How did you guys feel this one came out? As far as your collaboration,
it's good.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was such a great episode.
Great.
The thing for me that I found myself doing that I don't remember doing in the other episodes, right, is in this, I don't think it might sound like a knock, but it's not, is that I'd be playing and I'd put my controller down. In a lot of the other episodes, I constantly had it. I was afraid the walkers are going to come, or I got to run, push away from trees and stuff. This one, which I love, I felt like much more character-driven, right? And the fact of getting to know Reggie, finding, how do I want to treat Sarah? What do I want to, who is Carver? Stuff like that. It was not that there wasn't game to it, because obviously the whole game of The Walking Dead is building these relationships, but it had a different pace to it that I loved. I really, really dug that. I mean, was that a conscious effort on your part, or is that just how it all came together narratively?
I think from the standpoint of just the fact that you're a prisoner, you aren't going to be allowed to just run around, run through the woods.
Right, play Frisbee with the dog.
Exactly. Which you don't want to play Frisbee with that dog knowing where that ends up.
Well.
But, so I think part of that is just understanding that you're in constraints. Understanding that sometimes when you speak up, you're going to get smacked down.
Right.
Because that's kind of the way that this would play out if a kid was being saucy in a moment of
we
surrounded by
a
bunch of people with guns. So.
Like as soon as you start the episode, like you have one of the first dialogue options you have is to just mouth off to Carver.
Yeah.
And people love playing Clem sassy.
Yeah.
But we wanted you to know immediately if you do that with this guy, it's not going to end well for you. So that was kind of just things like that being like we wanted you to know that this is a different situation, like right off the bat, than the ones you've been in before.
And silence is an option. It's a real option. When things get uncomfortable in real life, I don't say anything.
Yeah.
If something pops off in a bus that I'm on, I'm not the guy that's going to be, hey, man, stop yelling at that man. I'm just going to be quiet.
You're so eloquent. You sure you don't want to?
This is what I do. That's what I do.
No, we were talking about before we started filming, like, this is the first time in any of the episodes I've actually let silence ride, right? Like with Lee, it was more like, yeah, whatever. I'll see what happens if I don't say anything on my second or third playthrough. But on this one, it was I got hit in the face right away by Carver, and it was like, okay, like I want, like there's one, there was not even one, I guess, but there was one. You're in his office, right, and talking to him. There's like 3 choices that are totally like, F you, man, and then the one that's just like, yeah, I'll do what you say, and I'm like, well, yep, I will do what you say, and then I was like, I hope that they understand from a gameplay perspective. I'm just telling him what he wants to hear, because I don't want to leave here and Kenny's like, I heard everything you said, Clem.
But in a moment like that, did you feel like, oh, I can't believe they got me to this place where I'm so
oh my God, there were so many. That's what I'm talking about with it being. I always talk about this, right? That like episode 1 of season 2 was a really weird place to be in the way that I'd been Lee for so long, and thought I had all these emotions as Lee, but it turns out that I was actually in love with the character of Lee, and like when I start breaking down and talking to Luke, Clem is getting upset. I was upset too, and getting teared up talking about Lee. So then it was this realization that I didn't know Clem the way I thought I did, right? I knew Clem as, this is the girl I'm protecting. She's on this pedestal. And now I am that girl, and I need to make these choices and start living with them.
Right. So, and there's a time, in between seasons, too, where this character developed without any of your input.
Right.
I mean, you potentially set her on a path in season 1, but, like any father figure or parental figure, I mean, you send them out into the world and they come back, and who knows what they are.
But that was the thing, is like, when I was Lee, and I was protecting Clem and trying to be an example for Clem, like, do I kill the St. John dairy guys? You know what I mean? And it's like, no, Clem's watching, blah, blah, blah. And this one, it was seriously like, do you want to watch Carver get killed? And I'm like, yep. Wow. Yes, I do want to watch. I'm
amazing.
So, over this.
That's great.
And
so how'd you feel after that, though?
Like,
you watched it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty brutal.
It's super brutal.
Right?
It's not pretty brutal.
No,
it is like disgustingly brutal.
Right.
But so, how did you feel about
if that was
that?
your kid, they would be taken away. If you allowed them to watch that.
Well, sure, but this isn't the same.
It's true. It's true.
This is this is the episode when I look back in the timeline of playing through The Walking Dead that I'm like, this is like the first time where I've really, really just given in and been like, all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like, as Lee, I'm like trying to do the good thing. I'm trying to be the good guy. I'm trying to be this great person. And here, and like, we slowly waded into it, I feel like. And now we're totally that area of just like, it's all gray.
Right.
F this guy. I want to see him get his head bashed in. You know what I mean? I want to make sure Kenny goes down. And that was the same thing, too. I found myself like Kenny's like, I got this terrible plan that will jump out and kill. I'm like, this is gonna go terribly, but f it, let's go, Kenny. Like, I got your back, man. I've been down this road enough with you. You know what I mean? That like I was so, I as I've said on the show many times and on many of IGN's products, I knew Kenny wasn't dead, right? Like the way you guys dressed it up, I knew he'd be back. And even though I knew that when there's that when you reunite in episode 2, again, I get all choked up. You know what I mean? Like. I wasn't prepared for that emotionally. So having him back, and especially that I thought he was going to die this episode, I was like, whatever you want, Ken, I'm on your side. You know what I mean? Like when they're like, well, we'll just leave him. It's like, yep, that's the smart choice, but f that. I'm only looking, he's my family. You know what I mean? Like you have these relationships you develop. He's my family.
So in the Carver walkie moment with Kenny, how'd you feel in that?
When Carver's beating the hell out of Kenny? I felt terrible.
Did you think that was it?
Yeah. You think that was the moment?
I thought he was going to be beaten to death, yeah. But then it went on to like that, when Bonnie came, like, I mean, like, we're talking like fractions of seconds, but I thought for sure, I was going to see him get killed there. And then when Bonnie ran in, I was like, oh, he's going to be okay. But I wasn't expecting him to get up and be fucking kick-ass Kenny like he was. You know what I mean? He was awesome when he's like, he interrupts, like, I heard everything, and thanks for sticking. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, Kenny. Or let's crack a beer together and drive to Florida.
Awesome.
Well, don't drink and drive, of course, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, so like if those were the moments you're going for, those were definitely the moments that I was all in on. But it was a weird episode in the way of like for the first time I really felt like I was Clem, and this all made like I finished the episode and I tweeted, when I grow up I want to be Clementine, right? Because like I finally am like in sync with her perfectly. I feel like I'm excited to go back on this trip I'm about to take and play through episodes 1 and 2 on Vita, because when's episode 3 coming? Nobody knows. And play through them again and like get to play that now knowing who my Clem is. You know what I mean? Like I knew who my Lee was because I was building him from the ground up the whole time, but Clem already had baggage and I kind of thought I knew her and it turned out I didn't. Now I'm on board with it.
It's interesting because I think there was definitely a worry at a certain point at the end of whether it would be a meta decision to see Carver get killed. Knowing that, no, I don't want my Clem to actually see this, but I, as the gamer, I want to see this, so I don't care. I'm gonna show her because I want to see it.
That was the big buy-in moment for me, and then on a smaller scale was when we were sitting there pruning the bushes. And it's like, I've been over Sarah since I met her, and I started calling her Mini Ugly Betty. Not that she's a bad character, right? But like, you are totally sheltered, and you aren't picking up on what's happening, and I don't have time for. You're gonna get me killed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to worry about you. And so like, you know, it's like, do you want to help her or not? And I'm like, no, of course I want to help her. I just go back to work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
So you didn't even bother helping.
So you didn't help? No, hell no. Like,
great.
go ahead and prove. I want everyone. Like, it's one of those things where. I'm like, I want people to know that she's worthless. I want Carver to be like,
where's the bus? Where's the bus?
Yeah, exactly. I'm throwing her right under it the first chance I get.
Right.
Yeah. She cost us Reggie's life.
That's what happens. See, you should have thrown her in the bus.
No, I don't think I didn't. Like, it's one of those. When I finish the episode, there's usually at least one decision I have to go back and replay, and that was it. I was like, no, not Kumail. Jump back. Like, could I have saved him? And I couldn't. I was like, damn it.
His wife was playing through yesterday, and she
was complaining about Sarah up until the choice moment happened there, and then she's like, damn it.
She went over and helped?
She helped her, yeah.
Right.
She's like, I guess I'm too good.
So she's able to actually vocalize her inner monologue to him, like, God, she sucks. I hate her
The
so
whole
much.
time leading up to it, she's like, God, you were just buck up, you know, like
and
getting
then
annoyed.
she still helps her because she's two-faced.
She's the worst.
Yeah.
Well, there comes to that. Well, I mean, there's still that moment of holding on to what we are right now. You know, we're good people for the most part. We'd help each other out in James, but like to be in that situation of like, I'm still in my head prepared for this season to end with Clem on her own. You know what I mean? Like, like everybody you're with eventually kind of cycles in or out or whatever. So like, I don't want to start aligning myself. I've never told Sarah she's my friend. Like, nope. You're my baggage.
Ice.
Hey, you know what?
Really
Clem
cool.
has seen some stuff.
Right.
All right.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
been through a lot, and I wanted to put up
And you
with.
showed her some more stuff at the end
Yeah,
of this
you
episode.
definitely did.
Some
Yeah.
awful things.
Now she's an
It's
adult.
on you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. She's seen. I mean, she's seen people dead before.
Yeah.
No,
She
you're
saw
right.
Larry's head crushed with a salt block.
Right. It's totally the same as a man's head caved in with a crowbar. Yeah.
You know what?
Over a period of minutes.
No, I'm saying no. Did that sound disingenuous?
No.
A little bit.
Yeah. It was.
But no, it was great stuff. So, I mean, what were the other, like, not red flag moments, but big things you guys were worried about? You talked about being concerned with this meta moment. Were there other ones like that in this episode?
I was terrified. Just we were talking about this. Like, can we really like hit Clementine in the face with a butt of a rifle? Like, you know what I mean? Can we do that? But like, we talked about it a lot, and I feel like we landed in a place where it felt like it was coming out of the narrative, and it wasn't gratuitous. You know what I mean? So we did it, but like stuff like that.
Yeah, we set up shitty enough characters to where you actually believe that they would hit this kid. So I think that was a lot of it, and just being, and also setting up characters that you'd want to watch get beat down.
Sure.
Potentially, you know, I mean, making that moment so that people actually are satisfied. Like, oh, finally, I get to just get this release of seeing this happen.
I mean, that was the big part of why I want to watch on it and why I hate Carver so much, right, was the whole Carlos Sarah moment, right? When he forces the dad to hit the kid. And it's like, there's no option on the wheel that's going to stop this. You know what I mean? Like, that is happening. That's like such a violation of personal space. I do, but I don't like. I hate a lot of people in this room, Sean Finnegan, that I wouldn't want to see hit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between like, ugh, I want everybody to know that she sucks and I'm cool. You know what I mean? Versus like, yeah, hit your kid against your will. Like, that's a weird, twisted thing to put it in. So thanks for doing that, guys.
Sorry.
Being that.
It's all him.
Final question for you guys: You're building The Walking Dead, but more importantly, you're building Clementine. How much pressure do you feel? Because I don't think it didn't dawn on me, I think, until this episode. Like a lot of stuff, apparently, because I'm stupid, and it takes me 15 hours of a game to understand it. I finally caught on to the fact that you guys are probably building what's. It's hard to just put it into words. You're building, I guess, the strongest female character of all time in video games. I feel like I've never known you always talk about this, right? Like, I'm not coming out of left field with the fact that there's not many awesome female characters in games, right? There's people with their boobs hanging out, this armor doesn't cover, right? They're just there to be saved. And Clem is this person that you're building from being a child to being a competent adult who can go out and do it all on her own. And like, that was the whole thing with like, she has this moment where she's talking to Carver and she's like, they make me do everything or whatever, right? When I was playing along. Right. But then those options start appearing in the dialogue tree of like, does it have to be me? And I was totally going the opposite way of like, of course it's me. Like, not because I'm the player, but because I'm the competent person here who's going to make it out alive regardless because I'm great. Do you feel pressure to do justice by her, I guess?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like we want everybody to be really well-rounded, and you know, we wish we had some kind of magic bullet to make that happen for everybody. But we do talk a lot about every character being a real human being, and Clementine is specifically being just super important to make feel like everything that happens to her is realistic, and that she, you know, is evolving over the course of the season. So that's important to us, for sure.
And I think that, because we do get, well, in this particular choice, she's not acting like an 11-year-old girl, but I don't really know a lot of 11-year-old girls that went through the zombie apocalypse, so it's like, it's going to be different. And what she's seen and what she can do, what she's capable of, I mean, I hope that we've shown you enough to see her sort of grow, and none of this stuff comes out of left field anymore. It's more about whether you think that she's ready for it. It's like, is your Clementine ready for this moment?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're hitting those points, and that's, you know, I think you're talking about, like, would people be okay with seeing her get hit, right? I think people are. And stick with me. It's not that like I want her to get hit, but I'm saying, yeah, I'm okay with her getting hit because you've built this universe where that could happen, and it isn't a headline on IGN or some other site that Telltale's making a game where you hit girls. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Well, and
you're
it's
hitting
not
this
just
character.
girls, but kids. I mean, video games in general, it's such a third rail.
Right.
Like, there's entire games where there's kids don't exist in the world because they just don't deal with it. And if we're being honest to the world that we're telling our stories in, I think we have to allow for that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great work, guys.
Thanks.
Keep it up.
Thanks.
Get on Vita, make the other two, make another season, keep going. Make a Clem and Lee statue. That's what I really want, if we could make that happen.
We'll just whip that up.
Thank you.
We're
That's so great.
It will look like shit, though.
Downtown.
It'd be terrible.
Thank you both so much for your
no
time.
problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how IGN Playing Dead works. Every Saturday at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, we put up a new episode spoiling whatever the most recent episode of The Walking Dead was. If you like it, share it with your friends. And for everything about them damn walkers, keep coming back to IGN.